Welcome to our day 4 and our great roundtable. I believe you are got a lot of insights these days, but I believe our experts can provide more. So, quick reminder, ask question in our chat, vote for questions and experts will answer. And let's start with quick introduction. The first experts, Jonatan, could you introduce?
Hi everyone. Yeah, my name's Jonathan or John Story. Yeah, quick introduction to me. So I guess I don't have a technical or IT education. My first job was in a factory as a production manager. So I moved over to IT when I helped build a production control app. So that gave me the bridge into the IT industry. And while I was there in the factory, they also tried to teach me development coding in COBOL, which quickly decided that wasn't the way I wanted to go, and business analysis was a career for me. So I guess since then I've got over 20 and more years experience as a business analyst across a range of domains. In the last 10 years I've focused slightly more on capability building in terms of BAs, QAs, and now with EPAM product managers. So really excited to hear what my colleagues and you guys in the audience have to say. So yeah, looking forward to the discussion.
Okay, guys, I think I will be next. So again, hi everyone. It's great to see all you here. It's the last day of our conference. So my name is Roman Sakharov. I'm Senior Business Analysis Manager at EPAM, actually working at EPAM for more than 10 years. Helping to develop business analysis in various of directions. I personally started in IT more than 12 years ago in the testing engineering area, and then moved to product management and project management. Then again, in EPAM, I had a chance to build a career as a business analyst, and again, covering also product management as well. So yeah, personally, I guess I'm one of the examples when bridging the gap, between the two roles, as other colleagues on this calls as well. So I hope we can help and get you some answers on those questions today. Thank you.
And probably I'll be the next. Good day, good morning, dear colleagues. Friday morning, I'm sure that you all have pretty good mood today. Let me introduce myself. My name is Marina. I'm Business Analysis Manager from Minsk, from Belarus. Actually, I just realized that my career path was so far not that much interesting as Jonatan's, but it took several different positions, starting from tech writing to delivery management, of course, business analysis, resource management. I've been here with EPAM already for a bit more than 12 years, and topic of product management and business analysis is quite interesting for all of us with this new job function, and I do hope that today we will have very interesting conversation. And passing my word to Olga.
Yeah, thank you very much, Marina. Hello, everyone. My name is Olga. I'm a Chief Business Analyst in EPAM Netherlands. And I started my journey from the developers, and I was a QA, business analyst, a project manager. So I tried all the steps from the career path, and then I really understood that business analysis is what I want to do. And I work in a very close collaboration with product managers, product owners from the client side, and together with them, using my knowledge, business knowledge and technical knowledge, we built the greatest solution together. And now I'm very happy to be here and to share my knowledge and experience with you by answering all your questions. Thank you. And the next, I think, will be
Yuri. It's going to me, hopefully. Yeah. Hello to everyone. Happy Friday. So yeah, really excited to join this conversation. So a little bit explanation of what I'm. So I started doing business analysis over 15 years ago, and I have started to do this in banking industry in local market. But after 5 years, I joined to international business analysis. So I was working for London insurance area, and I spent 5 amazing years there. So I never did try even to do some programming for money. So I'm completely off. Keep my hands off the development. I mean, to write a code, but almost all my career I was focusing on customer relationships, on specific needs, on targeting, on making efforts to make it real, to create a product which really respond to needs and some problems of customers and end users. And I'm with the PAM about 5 years right now, so I'm a product manager right now. I was a chief business analyst, and I have passed assessment recently. I'm responsible for BA pool in St. Petersburg, so it's about 53 BAs right now. I'm leading business analysis community as well here in St. Pete, and there are about 170 people there. So really exciting to join, and hopefully it will be really good conversation. Over to...
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. So can we start our session today? And sorry for some troubles. So let's start our discussion maybe from holistic essential viewpoint. Jonatan, what is the crucial difference between product managers and BA's mindset?
Great. So I have an easy question to start with. That's good. So I guess for me, it's around ownership and leadership. I think even if you look at a basic level, where did we get the title product owner from? And I think that sort of starts to explain it. You know, the product manager, product owner, they own the product, responsible for the success of the product. You know, the decision maker, if you like. You know, we've heard some great presentations and conversations throughout the week. You know, defining the vision, the strategy, understanding the needs, researching the market, and it's great stuff, really interesting stuff, and that's all down to the product manager. You know, they are the owner. From the leadership side, you know, it starts to get a bit. I think it starts to get a bit more complicated. The product manager, you know, they need to sell the vision. They need to, in a sense, lead the organization around that vision, and alongside that, they need to pull together the cross-functional team that's going to deliver that vision or make it real. So, you know, leadership is around not necessarily being responsible in a line management point of view. It's about you know, inspiring, motivating people around that vision you have. So, you know, it's leadership without authority in a way. I guess BAs may not quite at that kind of level. You know, typically as a BA, you've got somewhere to start. It may just be 3 or 4 bullets on an email, but you've got somewhere to start. You have a rough idea of who your stakeholders might be. So you've got something to work with. Obviously, as a BA, you need to influence. You need to lead in some way. Maybe you need to lead that development team. But ultimately, the buck stops, or everything goes back to that decision making, the ownership of the product manager. I guess to summarize my answer, a long way of saying, I saw a really good quote on a website. I can't remember which one, but it said, the product manager is responsible for making decisions. The business analyst is responsible for ensuring those decisions get made. And whether that's completely right or you agree with it, I think it's a good summary. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jonatan. So actually, yes, it's interesting, and it's maybe can cover these gaps. And Roma, would you like to add something on it?
Yeah, guys, a couple of words from my side. Thank you again. It's hard to add anything on top of Jonatan already said, but again, if we are continuing to elaborate that more in terms of, like, you know, how business analysts and product manager, you know, differ, So basically, it's even, you know, the difference is also visible in different day-to-day activities which we do. You know, for example, how we you know, approach the feature set we need to develop further in our like product or anything like that. So from a business analysis perspective, you usually have the analysis done for you, and you definitely understand the business value behind that for the feature set you're doing. Yeah, for a product manager, you are usually the one who should define the value of that feature set. You is the one who should, you know, prove the fact that our product will benefit on the market or within our organization, if it's enterprise product, from that feature set. And that's it seemingly not a large difference, but actually, you know, it gives you a little bit more pressure on how you approach things. So you cannot, you know, approach things like, I don't know, maybe some used to do like, okay, this is analyzed, let me create requirements and let's give it to the development team. So you need to do this analysis, validation, like idea validation before you do any start of the work. And you need to maybe do more analysis in terms of market needs and your user needs. So yeah, that's something that differs from my perspective. And also in terms of like other small things, again, this is the way how you discuss it with the team, as already mentioned by Jonatan. You also need to protect your vision, and you'll need to be, you know, this evangelist, the guy who is actually, you know, always like saying about that vision, like inspiring others with that one. So you need to be the one who preaches the product within your product team within your company, and like you will be the go-to person, you know, if someone wants to get inspired. So that's why you'll need all those skills, like I don't know, basically elevator speech, you know, and being able to construct the really inspiring visions for others. So there are definitely differences. They are more, you know, they are not in fundamental skills, because I guess some basic fundamental skills are always the same, but the way how your mindset approaches, you know, whether it's a product or already, and you need to validate, or it's already a design feature and you need to implement. Okay, yeah, thanks. That's from my side.
Yeah, and maybe Olga can add something also.
Yes, I also would like to add on top of what Jonatan and Roman have already said, that one more difference that I see, that BA, once he receives some feature and starts analyzing it, he tries to find as many cases, use cases, and so on as possible to describe the feature from all point of views. But product manager should have an MVP mindset. In order to implement feature as soon as possible, deploy it and start getting data. And then based on the data, either continue with this feature and implement it other cases and so on, or just decide that this feature is not needed by end user and we need to focus on another one. So this point I would like to add here. Thank you.
Thank you, Olga. Thank you, Roma, and thank you, Jonatan. So if there are gaps, how we can help our BAs, how we can add value to our customers. So do we have any learning program to accelerate the BAs to high-skilled product managers? So Roma, can you maybe provide some insights on this?
Yeah, okay, guys, I think I'll try, you know, because we have both participants from inside EPAM and outside of EPAM. So internally, we definitely have a list of courses and training programs which we can use for that. So within, again, like within our Ukrainian business analysis and product management direction, like basically, Maria, you actually developed a very good program for product management learning. So again, that's a very good bootcamp which helps to kickstart with required product management skills. So sometime before, we did a technical product management program, which was slightly more focused on the specific role of technical product management. So we are now working on the all EPAM product management university. And if you are outside of EPAM, you can also benefit from our master's degree program, which is actually a master's program, a real master's program, which you can get like after your bachelor, for example. And it also includes like a quite intensive course on product management, additionally to delivery management and others. And they actually promised it to provide it externally after some time, after finalizing this year run for the master's degree program. So there is a chance it will be also available externally from EPAM. So there is also a way. And finally, I would like to add that again, at EPAM, we have a pretty good way of accessing different learning within our learning platform and LinkedIn Learning. And there are also some interesting courses. And LinkedIn Learning, if you are familiar with its approach, there are like gradual, smaller courses which give you the needed kickstart in the required direction. But still, if you are, preparing to read some more serious books and, to like go for some more longer courses, it's good to start from LinkedIn Learning because you get this required fundamentals for going forward. So yeah, there was plenty of learning in all directions, and I guess the other topic, and you can actually go with another list of books which you should start reading when you are moving into the product management direction. But yeah, we can also like proceed with these questions in our discussions chats because it's better to have them written down. But again, guys, if you still have this question, just ask question there and we'll ensure to answer them with proper links for you. Okay. Back to you, Marina.
Yeah, and actually I know that Jonatan can add something interesting on this.
Yeah, I can if I come off mute. So I think product management is still quite a young profession, and I think as a result of that, it's quite dynamic. There's a lot of activity around not just EPAM, but around the entire industry or the entire discipline. So there's, as well as the formal training methods and whatever, there's a huge amount of informal stuff going on out there. The meetups you see, okay, they're virtual now or electronic, but there's a huge amount of meetups that you can go to. So get yourself registered. I'd say get yourself registered on websites. Look at all the the online resources, because there's typically plenty of stuff coming up on those things that you can attend and learn from other people. Because generally, even colleagues in other organizations, they're really, really happy to share experience and get involved in those discussions. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Jonatan. Thank you, Roma. But if you have number of activities, Olga, what would you maybe suggest focusing on to master this product management skills? So we have a lot of activities, but we need to focus on the maybe most valuable skills.
Yeah, I would say that if you would like to master product management skills, of course, you need to read and learn and take part in different courses, but also you need to have a practical experience. So you need to grow in BA sphere and to work closely with real product managers and product owners in order to learn from them and to take more responsibility on yourself in decision making. Yeah, so become a proxy product owner first and try to get more and more responsibilities. So the first is decision making. The second, probably this MVP mindset that implement as soon as possible minimum viable product and learn on your mistakes, learn on data. So work with the data. Learn how to work with the data, how represent them, how visualize them, and how to make decisions based on data. Also marketing research. So it's kind of a new skill for business analysts. So if business analyst is more as translator from business to IT requirements, and it's really hard to be pure business or pure IT for business analysts. Yeah, you should be aware of both these domains. And product manager should be most likely is more business person who understands business trends and who is aware of different marketing techniques. Thank you.
So thank you, Ola. And maybe Yuri, could you share your experience? You have a rich experience in business analysis and product management. So how BA skills can help to perform product managers' activities?
Yeah, thanks for the answer for the question. So it is a simple question, and at the same time it is a complex one. So generally, from the high level view, from the bird eye level view, I would say that first, all soft skills which we have in our mindset, whatever whatever look at this subject you can take. So we can start from, for e-commerce, I can start with our skill matrix, which we are using to develop business analysis competency, or you may create your own soft skills skill set for business analysts, and everything goes here. So every particular one, starting from negotiation, conversation, handling meetings, I don't know, everything required at a very confident level to perform product management activities. But to be more maybe specific and more detailed, I'm a business analyst nerd, to be honest. So I'm really a fan of everything which relates to business analyst. And generally, there are two areas in my mind. One area is where our BA skill sets fit to product management skills, and this is what I will try to explain. And I will maybe delay with the response how to increase these areas where product management skills are specific and not really correlate to business analyst skills, and this is maybe a topic for to discuss a bit later. But for those one which can be reused or to use to accelerate that, starting from business case realization, from planning releases, creating roadmaps, all hard skills which we are using as business analysts are quite important and helps us a lot. So generally, at some point, all business analysts, I do believe in that, are involved in these activities, and to create some prioritized list of features or to create some long-term roadmap is somehow hits our profession from time to time, and depends on what kind of seniority level you have. This is a good basis to play this role as a product manager on the earlier stages of the product. Going further, when we are trying to plan the product and to create some kind of preparation for the delivery phase, where we need to elaborate more specifically some personas, some user scenarios, some particular maybe mock-ups to be granularly fit to your customer's style guide, your customer brand, concept. This is also there are a lot of skills which business analysts can just bring exactly like they are in business analyst world. So facilitation of the meeting, elaboration and elicitation requirements with end users to crystallize personas, everything is extremely required from product management perspective. And of course, it is a question whether you do this work by yourself as a product manager, or you delegate this. At any point, you need to understand what should be done there, what kind of deliverables will be produced after these activities. And of course, you have to, as a product manager, you have to provide some guidance and some quality, I don't know, a final door which decides, all right, this is a good enough deliverables and we can proceed with the next activities, next phase, or next, I don't know, bunch of work. Or we need to refine and to increase some quality regarding these artifacts right now. So this is extremely important, I think. And finally, so when we are trying to develop a product, when we are doing launch for the product, this is also a huge number of skills from business analysts which we can reuse and which helps a lot to play this product management role as well. So get feedback on your product. I mean, if we do agile sprint iterative development, each particular sprint you need to communicate with the customer and get it feedback and understand whether it fits the initial needs, or you have distracted the whole audience of your product. And for UAT as well, this is maybe more broad and wide angle of view on your functionality and results of your work and work of your team. But anyway, this is a work to very precise hearing and listening for feedback to maybe rethinking of what we did wrong or what we did right, and everything relates to business analysis skill as well. So this is defect tracking and management, this is change management, this is elicitation as well, maybe in short term, but to elicit new additional changes is really important. So this is my view right now. Maybe I'll change my mind next 10 years, maybe not, but generally a whole bunch of BA skill set, hard and soft skill, can be reused and must be reused. And yeah, this is my answer, but we can discuss what we maybe hardly can reuse, but this is maybe next discussion.
Yeah, exactly. It's a topic with maybe long discussion. So guys, we have a question from our audience. So what is the number one tip you would give to your old self when you were growing into the role of product manager? What is the key insights you wish you would have known at an earlier stage? So Roma, maybe you can.
Thanks, Maria. Yeah, just trying to do it really fast. I had experience again in my first company, which was a product company, and I actually had a couple of my own, let's say, startup endeavors where I had to learn this hard. But if I had this one tip you need to give, I would say, and again, just maybe a disclaimer, this may be, very different for each person depending on your personality. But I would say learn to validate first. Do not jump into solutions. That's personally my issue because, right after I have the bright idea or I see, it seems that I see, whether the product should be developed, I'm like, guys, we are doing this now. Let's start development. And then it's crazy because, if sometime you see that you've spent budget for some work already being done, and you your team is developing something for 1.5 months, and you're thinking, yeah, I've seen information on one of forums that it seems it's not going to work because a couple of other startups or products already tried that, and that was a reason why it didn't work for them. And so learn to validate first. Yeah. And to the next speaker. Thanks.
Jonatan.
Yeah, I think for me it's be more curious. I think, as we develop, we're almost forced in a way to specialize and become too narrow. So I think, especially in terms of product management, and you're forced to do market research, understand the gap in the market. There are many other experiences you can bring from other examples. As Roman said, ventures that have failed. What were the experiences there? So, maybe I should have learned harder at school or whatever. But bring those. Be more aware of what's around you. Bring those other experiences in, and don't be quite so narrow. That's all I would say. Marina, are you something to add?
Marina.
Yeah, thank you, Jonatan. Actually, probably my piece of advice will be in very close area, because you need to find proper source of inspiration, because especially when you're growing from BA to product owner, then to product manager, you, as Jonatan mentioned, you used to think pretty narrow and you used to think pretty functional. You need to find proper ways to find this inspiration. It might be people, it might be different examples of different products. It might be your own, I don't know, day-to-day trip somewhere in the forest where you find this inspiration, but look for different areas where you can pick up ideas, and don't be afraid that these ideas from the very first try may not work, because as product manager you have to make decisions, and you just need to accept it at the very beginning that some of the decisions may not work, and that's fine. Just have this curiosity and to find more and more better decisions, and that's okay. If it won't work from the very first try, it will for sure work from the second. Maria, back to you.
Yeah, Marina. And actually, Marina, I have a question to you. So which one do you like best in product management and in business analysis? And guys, you can also provide your experience. So Marina, which one?
Do you mean, do I like business analysis or product management?
No. One thing from product management and from BA. So both.
You know, probably there's one thing which is common both for business analysis and product management, which I do like. That's why both these professions are quite close to me. Both of them are about creation of something new, creation which something which simply didn't exist before, and you really need to try all your imagination here, combining it with all your hard skills. So when you create something new, this is very, very, very much inspiring for me. And to my mind, it is both about business analysis and product management.
Yeah, thank you. So guys, do you have some preference in business analysis and product management? No?
Maybe I can add here.
Yeah, Olga?
Yeah, I think that it's quite natural that the more you work in some domain as some professional, you want to do more and more. And it was natural for me that I wanted to create things, not just do some things that somebody creates invent before, and then just give me to continue with them, to implement them, but I wanted to create things. That's why I started to work with business, elicit their needs, their problems, because I really wanted to help them to solve their problems, to automate their manual work, to help their businesses to grow. And that's my passion, to help businesses to grow, to solve problems with the leakage of the revenue and so on. And I like consult business to focusing more on their needs rather than the solutions. And sometimes do not invent bicycle, but make a competitive analysis and marketing analysis, and then based on data, make the decisions. Maria?
Yes, Olga. And also maybe, guys, you can add something on it. Jonatan?
Yeah, I guess for me, it depends on your personality in a way, because yeah, I'm quite a curious, some people say nosy kind of person. I like to get involved in everything. So, you know, and I think, yeah, there's no preference, product management or BA, one way or the other, but I think as everyone else has said, it's that curiosity to understand really what is the problem you're trying to solve. Then, yeah, once you get further down the line, when you're elaborating requirements, working on stories, working with the development team, working with the business, the POs, yeah, having that input there and being involved in that and adding value there, then yeah, when you're testing, you're getting involved, the go live, the releases, it's being involved in that end-to-end process right from the start to the finish, you know. So yeah, the adding value all the way along, and I guess yeah, that's the real excitement. Why, yeah, I don't think there's any particular preference, but it's you know, just keeping that curiosity going and seeing something work at the end, which is great.
And actually, maybe Olga, I know you have some insight and you can provide us with a situation when BA approaches are not working so well in product management.
I wouldn't say that there are such approaches, as Yuri very well mentioned, that all the BA skills, they are really needed for product management as well. And but on top of your product of your BA skills, you need to learn more, a lot of things more in addition, in order to be an efficient product manager. So yeah, and just in addition to what Jonatan just said on the previous questions, that is really excited to see the results of your work. When you see that so many users, for example, use your feature and they really provide you great feedbacks on what you do. Maria?
So yeah, good, interesting. And actually we have a new question in our chat. And how would you define a good balance between data analysis and customer feedback in terms of decision making for the next MVP iteration? So we need to understand what exactly we can include or we need to include to our MVP. So Roman.
Yeah, guys, thanks. Sorry, yep, Maria. Yeah. So regarding this balance between data analysis and customer feedback, that's actually quite a tricky question because that very much depends on the quality and what data shows to you and a way how you are receiving customer feedback. But maybe let me try and explain it on the real life experience, on the real life examples. So again, in one of my endeavors, we had a case when we wanted to launch a separate functionality for our product. And I mean, that was, again, for a user-focused product. We tried to understand whether users are willing to see that feature and whether they are going to pay for it and actually use it in future. So again, that's my maybe lifetime journey of doing a validation, and we try to validate it before we are like investing into development of that functionality. And what happened that actually our users they were pretty, confident. Yes, guys, this is something we really want and really need use. And they actually came up even with some additional use cases where that would help them. So it seemed like a good idea in terms of doing that forward. However, in terms of data, we've seen that part of application wasn't particularly used by people, but again, as the application was quite fresh and we were not sure about where it should grow further, we decided to base on the user feedback here, and we actually went on with that feature. But what then happened? Actually, people from out of the percentage of all users, like 5% at most used that feature, which we spent a couple of months for. And basically the data kept confirming that area was not maybe ready or was not, very useful for the audience which we had. And so basically here in this case, the data seemed to be more relevant. And after some years, after I've seen that case, after we learned that lesson, it appeared that, of course, that those people who were giving us answers were first our active promoters and those people who were early adopters. And they were really, keen in using new features, and that's why they actually answered to our questions and to our surveys. So we've fallen into that gap, when you are doing your list, you're hearing what you want, to listen. So we wanted that feature, we found the confirmation from customers, so we want to develop for that, and we disregarded data a little bit. So from my perspective, I think if you really have a chance to choose, it's better, of course, to back up all such decisions with the data. Of course, you should understand the data will be more strict than you usually want, and as Henry Ford had said that if I would ask my customers, what they want, they would say that the faster horse. So you should also like consider that as well when you are like taking decision. But data is important, and as we had on Monday and I guess today a different meeting events on that yeah, if you have a chance, try to rely on data, because usually data don't lie.
Yeah, actually, we need to understand what customer feel and what exactly he think about it. So, and yeah, I have a tricky question in our chat. So it's really tricky question. If you had to recommend only one book for an aspiring product manager, what book would this be and why? So one book, it's a really tricky question. Jonatan.
Yeah, so for me, I don't know if you've heard, there's a gentleman called Marty Kagan, who I think whether he runs, owns the Silicon Valley Product Group. So for a start, there's a good website there, which is full of really, really good stuff. But he wrote a book a few years ago and been recently updated called Inspired: How to Create Products Customers Love. So yeah, even the title I think is good, because we've talked about inspiration before, and yeah, products customers love, and it just gives a really good, I wouldn't say basic, but a really good sort of overview of what I'd say would be the product management process or life cycle, and some really good tips, tools, techniques you can use. So yeah, one book, that would be it for me.
Yeah, and maybe Marina, you can provide your best one.
Yeah, actually, I totally agree with Jonatan's choice, but there is one thing which I would like to add here. There are a lot of different literature, and if you would like to make your own opinion, what is product management for you, how you can do this job, I honestly would recommend not to focus on one reading. Because I personally do like to read different blogs, opinions of different people, because, when you would like to master some profession, you first of all need to learn how to look at the problem from different angles. One book, this is still one author and one primary point of view. To be able to, as we already talk today, to be able to think wider, you need to have this full cycle view. So don't focus on one reading. The book which Jonatan mentioned, this is perfect probably book to start with, but try to listen different opinions and incorporate them into your view and your experience. Maria, back to you.
Actually, now we have a lot of channels to receive this information. We have a lot of YouTube channel and books as well. So yeah, guys, just dig into it. And our next question: in the absence of PO, BA will be the proxy for PO. In this case, how the BA has to come up with the product backlog items, and who will be the immediate stakeholder to get the contacts of other key stakeholders in the elicitation phase. So have you faced such situation? Have you any insights on this point? So maybe Yuri can add something, I guess.
Yeah, thank you. Generally, working in outsourced business model, you face this situation really, really often. And generally, for me, it was always a question how to deal with the authority to make a decision. Of course, we all are confident, we all at some points are overconfident to make some decisions, but to deal with the customers, you need to explain why this decision has been made and why this decision model is better than any other thing we have access to right now. That's why I'm always playing with the stakeholders and their authority and their willing to authority, because some times people who are really experts and know a lot about everything, but they don't want to take the authority for some decisions. This is just reality, and that's why I'm always trying to figure out in my head what kind of decision model I will execute, let's say, and this thinking is always a basis for me how I can persuade anyone within the project team or at the street why this model is the best thing. It works 90%. Sometimes we face the situation when we have another people who have arguments against that, etc., etc. But having at least this basis, you feel like 80% of success. Of course, everything else can be as subjects of negotiations, persuasion, etc. But start with decision model and a basis. What kind of authority for decision making first? This is my view.
Yeah, thank you, Yura. And Ola, how it works in your maybe reality and your projects?
Yeah, I also would like to add a couple of words on this question. Each time when I'm assigned a new project, one of the first things that I always do is create rasa matrix. So using all the contacts that I have at the beginning, it might be even only account manager or delivery manager from EPAM side, I try to find out all the people, all the stakeholders of the future project, and to understand their level of involvement, who will be responsible for what, accountable for what, who needs to be informed, and so on. Because it's really crucial to work with the expectations of our customer, of our client in the proper way. Otherwise, it might be a risk to miss somebody who will then have a great impact on our solution, on our requirements, and so on, and we will need to do some rework. So I would recommend to do the rasa matrix in order not to forget anybody from the client side. And if you do not have product owner from client side and you play this role of product owner, product owner, then I would recommend you to work with the business owners, business representatives of different departments, domains, and so on, in order to get all their requirements, and then together with them, prioritize them in a proper way in the backlog.
Yeah, actually, it seems to be product management role is not so easy, how we can see. So next question may be to drill out. So what are the most important things you are struggling with as a BA and as a product manager? So Jonatan, could you explain?
Yeah, I would say negotiation. So yeah, my famous example of that, I worked for an automotive client to build some mobile apps for their quality engineers. So working on car launches, incredibly complex to go out and inspect suppliers. And we had a couple of product owners with 30 years experience in the business, knew everything. So, we were story mapping, so building out, got brown paper all over the walls with post-its up. They're prioritized, and we gave them the pen and said, okay, so draw the line, what's your MVP? And they said, what do you mean MVP? We want all of it. We can't work unless we have all of it. And that I think they call it a Mexican standoff in the films, where the two gunfighters are there. Who's going to draw the gun first? And it was that negotiation to say, at some point we have to deliver. If you want everything, it's going to take 4 years. How do we negotiate that down to an MVP that adds value quickly, or brings value quickly? And it was that shock of trying to talk to very experienced business guys who knew exactly what they wanted and thought what they needed, and that was a real eye-opener for me. And I wasn't really prepared for the level of challenge that I got, and for the whole process that we had to go through, and that was really hard for me. So my learning is, is that preparation, go through, in a negotiation is coming at some point, whether you're defining MVP or whatever. So prepare in advance, because that was a struggle for me.
Yeah, Marina, maybe you have another point of view.
Not another, but probably just one extra case here, which is for me complex both in the role of BA and in the role of product manager, and it more relates to the specificity of the product we are working on. We are talking a lot nowadays about platform engineering, and platform engineering is actually about a set of multiple products, modules which are incorporated into one solution. For me, is both as a BA and as a product manager, it's quite a tricky thing to be able to manage all the dependencies which stands behind these complex solutions. Because what is dependency? This is also usually about dozens and dozens of stakeholders who think about their small piece, small, very important, absolutely yes, module or sub part of the product, which must be logically incorporated in quite a huge system. And I think that that's extremely complex thing to find this proper balance between, first of all, to identify all these dependencies and find this proper balance between priorities, stakeholder opinions, and actually this time to market line if the solution is that much complex. Maria, back to you.
Yeah, actually, we have a question about BA activities. Maybe we can start with all BA activities on the project from the very beginning to the very end. So it's a question about BA activities. And Yuri can provide some insight.
Yeah, it's so to be honest, this is the top question at the early stage of working with the customer. So everyone wants to hear some insight from, service company. What are you doing really from business analysis? Because we do business analysis, but we want to know more because you guys seem to look very professional, blah, blah, blah. Getting back to this question, so if we just imagine the standard process of discovery or pre-sales starting from very beginning, on the pre-sale, business analysts mostly support some activities to preparing some parts of RFI, RFP, which is request for information, request for proposal, working with solution architect maybe to make more bright slides. So this is just a supportive role rather than creative role or brute force role, let's say. But from time to time, if a business analyst is really senior, we have another different roles and setups at that stages. But getting back to the more close phase of business analyst skill set, we call it discovery, is the phase where you need to drill down a little bit more into a demand itself, what kind of needs and wants you have on your table. This is more usual to proceed with the first elaboration and communication and all other activities face to face mostly. So you need to elaborate and define some high-level functional backlog, high-level non-functional items which we need to proceed with, and this is breaking down into activities like communication, facilitation, maybe some mock-upping, and the specific thing on that phase is that a lot of work should be done quickly, and 80% of this work plus and minus redundant, because you do a lot of mock-upping, a lot of brainstorming, a lot of ideation, but most of these parts are not being used in the future, but you are forcing the idea. Going back to next phase, this is we call delivery phase, and there is some interim phase between these, but I won't stop on that, how we transfer the discovery to delivery. But anyway, for the delivery phase, these are general activities to work with the backlog, with the prioritization, with some business analysis on details, on complexity, on dependencies. We need to, manage backlog with the acceptable level of granularity to keep the structure of backlog, to attach some mock-ups to make sure that your work as a business analyst are accepted by leadership team, by development team, estimation phase as well, to prepare the sprint and do all the ceremonies if you work agile, and do all planning stuff if you work waterfall. And this is where business analysts live and breathe during this phase. Of course, communicating with development team to help them to remove blockers, to increase and maybe create an understanding of what the purpose of our development. This is end-to-end, day-to-day life of business analysts. Moving to maybe final phase, I would just make my answer a little bit shorter to the UAT and maybe launch phase if you want. This is a more energized phase and expired phase when the changes to your backlog, changes to functionality comes really unexpectedly, and every time it happens with the certain level of emotions added to this, and change management should be really strict. Negotiation process should be really soft and really effective. This is what Jonatan has said, so you should start with the negotiation at any point as a BA, because this is brute force point when you try to deliver the product. Of course, when you finish with the UAT or SIT or whatever components is included in this phase, we need to make sure that all the UAT success criteria are met, so everything is prepared, deployed, tested, smoke tested, etc. And after that, usually we have some short or maybe a little bit extended period of post-go live support, when you need to do strictly the same like you did as UAT, but all the change requests on all the bugs, all the issues which came out from your customers are rely on SLA. So you need to fix it quickly and deliver the quality at the same level. And this is always a subject of change management, subject of negotiations, subject of problem solving, and this level of system thinking and at some point creativity should be really at the top level. So this is really broad, not detailed.
So yeah, exactly. We need to have several sessions. So Roma, we need to have another time. And guys, we are running out of time. And let's proceed our discussion via discussion in our platform. So thank you for good answer, for great questions and fantastic session.
Yeah, guys, and we'll have our questions answered on the discussion platform anyway, so all of those which are asked into question and answer part will be answered there by our experts. And if you still want anyone to continue answering or chatting with, just feel free to use the discussion platform. We are pretty quickly on answering there, so yeah, feel free to ask.
Yeah, we are waiting for your question. So thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Hey, guys,
Cheers.
thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.